Support for Iowa Catholic Radio and Making It Personal is provided by Sarah Vocations Ministry. Learn more at joinserra.org.
Making It Personal with Bishop William Joensen on Iowa Catholic Radio and iowacatholicradio.com.
Welcome to Making It Personal with Bishop Joensen. I'm Jean Till, and on today's show, we're visiting with Giovanna Redondo. She is the general coordinator for the pilgrimage of Our Lady of Guadalupe that is currently down at St. Ambrose, and it will be traveling through the diocese.
A very vivid presence.
Oh, my goodness.
Neither of us realized the scale of this. Well, that's one mother to deal with.
Well, and it's beautiful. You know, there's a sense of her presence.
And you need the scale of the cathedral to host her because she's
large. This is not a small undertaking, but everybody should visit.
But people just coming at various hours and days to show their great devotion to Mary's son, but also to Mary herself and the protection. And we'll look forward to speaking with Giovanna and telling us a little bit more about the whole layers of significance that are there. Here we are at the last day of July, the feast of Saint Ignatius of Loyola, which we are grateful for the presence of Father Bob Dufford, Jesuit priest at Jesuit Retreat Center in Griswold, and the gifts of spiritual direction and music and spiritual conferences that he gives. Of course, across the river as well, our Jesuit friends at Creighton University and the Creighton University community. So happy feast day to you all, and I'm sure they know how to celebrate.
Well, and going back 50 years, I sang their music, not knowing that Father Dufford was from our diocese. No connection, just knew it was the Jesuits, right?
Right.
And here 50 years later, we're still singing some of those.
And he said there was no intention to ever form a troupe called the St. Louis Jesuits. That was just kind of by coincidence. And some have left us, so we're grateful that Father Dufford is still among us. And as well, of course, tomorrow or today, Saint Alphonsus Liguori on Saturday, August 1st, tremendous feast day, a patron of moral theologians, and he managed to find that kind of that equanimity, that equiprobabilism, that way in which not being on either extremes, and the kind of finding the moral prudence that finds what God would ask of us when we're confronted with different factors to discern. So grateful for these two very discerning saints, and God willing, I think with Saint Ignatius of Loyola, his own kind of personal discernment. We know the famous accident and then the aftermath and his recuperation, how he began to know his inner life in a powerful way, and the enduring fruits or lack thereof of what God was giving. But as he was moved then to go to Paris, assemble with others, including Francis Xavier as well, and then that greater movement to journey to Rome, where that another decisive event occurred in his inner life at that wayside chapel of La Storta, as if God the Father had imprinted on his heart the words, "I will be favorable to you in Rome." He saw Christ with the cross on his shoulder, and next to him the eternal Father. And the Father said to Jesus, "I want you to take this man to be your servant." And Jesus thus took Ignatius to himself with the words, "It is my will that you should serve us." And that you is not just a singular. It was that company, that Society of Jesus, that band that then went forward, the mysticism of service, that prayer itself is action and contemplation. But that when we go out, that's not meant to be a distraction from us. That's the realization of finding God in all things and, of course, glorifying God in all things, which we all seek to do in our respective vocations. So grateful. Tomorrow I get to celebrate the sacrament of baptism and Eucharist at Saint Peter Vietnamese Church. John and Amy Wynn, very wonderful time.
Yes.
They're kind of surprise child that they're having, and I'm honored to have that opportunity to do that. And then this coming week, we'll be joining with the Knights of Columbus from Iowa, who will be representing us at the KC Supreme Convention in Denver.
In Denver this year.
Archbishop James Golka hosting the Knights, and so this is something I don't do every year, but on alternate years, and so it'll be great to be with them and the great apostles of service, men in the family, their core initiative, which I think has really taken root here in the Des Moines Diocese and in many other places as well. So very beautiful time, and it's good when the band of brothers get together and celebrate the Eucharist, but also just celebrate each other's presence. So what a great blessing to be present there. And then, of course, here we go. We're standing on the cusp of school starting with the Holy Family School. We'll get the jump on others, but we'll save that for another show. Okay.
Well, we will take that quick break now, and when we return, we'll be visiting with Giovanna Redondo. She is the general coordinator for the pilgrimage of Our Lady of Guadalupe statue such a beautiful experience for everyone who visits the churches that she'll be visiting. You're listening to Making It Personal with Bishop Joensen on the Iowa Catholic Radio Network and the Spirit Catholic Radio Network.
Thursdays at 9 a.m., join Julie Nelson and Chris Magruder as they chat about faith, family, and the feminine genius. It's Catholic Women Now, here on the Iowa Catholic Radio Network and on demand on the Iowa Catholic Radio app, connecting people to Christ.
Welcome back to Making It Personal with Bishop Joensen. And on today's show, we're visiting with Giovanna Redondo, the General Coordinator for the Pilgrimage of Our Lady of Guadalupe, beautiful statue that's in our diocese.
Wonderful. Welcome, Giovanna. Thank you for making time for us and for your overall role in coordinating the appearance. This is Bishop Joensen, and it's so nice to have you on Making It Personal with Bishop Joensen.
Thank you very much for inviting me today. Nice to meet you.
Yes. So tell us how you came to be so intimately involved with coordinating this effort and the place of Mary in your own heart and spirituality.
Yes. I want to tell you a little about the history behind all these pilgrimages. In 2006, we brought to Chicago two identical replicas of the tilma of Our Lady of Guadalupe and San Juan Diego, accompanied by Monsignor Diego Monroy. Then he was the rector of the Basilica of Guadalupe. We participated in that moment in the Cinco de Mayo parade. I witnessed the laying of the cornerstone of the shrine of Our Lady of Guadalupe in this place. So we wanted, 19 years later, in August 2025, to return to this place, to begin a 6 years pilgrimage that will conclude in 2031, celebrating the 500th anniversary of the apparitions of Our Lady of Guadalupe. And like you said, it is important to mention that this is a lay movement. This is led by faithful Catholic lay people who we are inspired by their love for Our Lady of Guadalupe and for the Church. And we are dedicated our talents, time, and work to evangelization. And from the very beginning, we have always worked in communion with the Church and with the guidance of bishops and priests. But this initiative was born in the hearts of lay faithful who desired to bring Our Lady of Guadalupe's message to as many people as possible.
So, Giovanna, I have a question for you. Your heart had to have been moved to be a part of this journey. So how did that happen, that you became so involved in this journey of Our Lady?
Yes, this is because I work with Martin. Martin is the creator of the Pilgrim Mother journey. I worked with him 20 years ago. So in that moment, I accompanied him to brought these two identical replicas to Chicago, and I can see in the first hand all the deeply moving of what Lady of Guadalupe mean in their lives of the immigrants and in the people, the protection of our Blessed Mother, inspiring people. So when Martin invited me to return to last year, I was pleased to accompany him and to make this possible again.
Beautiful, beautiful. And, I think the sentiment of the people and, of course, the great message of the Blessed Mother as she speaks to Juan Diego, my son whom I love so dearly, as a little and delicate one, but that all of us are God's little ones with so great a mother who appears to St. Juan, but also to all of us. I was moved in my singular visit to the shrine in Mexico City about 2.5 years ago with Father Rodrigo Mayorga Landeros of our own diocese. It was a day of a diocesan pilgrimage, and the people had come, their vehicles lining the boulevard for miles leading up to the shrine. And, as you say, the people of all stripes of life, perhaps different means as well, but God's poor ones, again, this great outpouring of affection and devotion. The Pilgrim Mother that is now present here in St. Ambrose Cathedral and will be making its way through Our Lady's Immaculate Heart, St. Boniface in Waukee, St. Bernard in Osceola, and Corpus Christi and Council Bluffs. She is actually normally present in the campus of the shrine at the Basilica?
Can you repeat the question?
Is the Pilgrim Mother statue, obviously we have the image itself so prominently displayed that people can make their way underneath with the moving walkway that's present. But this particular statue, is it also present ordinarily in the campus of the Basilica in Mexico City?
No. This Virgin was created especially for this pilgrimage. Martin, this inspiration came from Martin. He was responsible for the last visit of John Pope II in Mexico City in 2004. In that moment, during a difficult period, he experienced seeing Our Lady in 3 dimensions. And he experienced this again 3 times more. So he wanted people to encounter the Virgin just as San Juan Diego did. So he commissioned Mexican sculptor Jorge Ismael Rodriguez to bring that vision to life. So we create this Virgin especially for the pilgrimage. In the United States, we start the last August 2025 and we end in 2031. The Virgin will remain in the States and in the sanctuary of Our Lady of Guadalupe in Des Moines, Illinois.
Tremendous. So and the Mexican bishops were so gracious in reaching out to us at our recent National Bishops meeting in the United States in Orlando, where we consecrated the country to the Sacred Heart. But the invitation of the Mexican bishops to truly be intentional in participating in the run-up to 2031. And this is certainly something that speaks to me and sparks my own devotion and fire of love. As you say, she's present in 3 dimensions in the incarnation of the statue. And it's so vivid and
so
life, that just stirs prayer and pondering the mystery of Mary's role. Is it true that the hair on the statue is actually from a young girl who offered this as a gesture of love and a devotion?
A little girl donated her hair, and it's a real hair. The Virgin had a lot of special things in her, like the eyes are prosthetics, like the blind people use. All the pieces is painted by hand. And I think that the hair is a very special thing in the Virgin, like you said.
Because when you first look at it, you assume, it's a statue. So it's a statue, right? Everything is made out of whatever the material
plaster
is.
Or whatever.
Yeah. And then when you find this out, you need to gaze on it and look at her more fully. She's got hair. She's got these eyes that are really very alive. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Are all the weeks and months running up to 2031 already spoken for, Giovanna? Are various dioceses, or are there some still openings where dioceses who are interested can also participate in this pilgrimage?
Yes, we have a lot of cities interested in have the Virgin, and we have a lot of invitations for this year. Our major destination will be California. We conclude this year's pilgrimage marking the 495th anniversary of the Parisians. We hope to celebrate the traditional Mañanitas to Our Lady in the Cathedral of Los Angeles. And we have a lot of plans for the next years. We have already received invitations from Orange and Sacramento in California, Cincinnati, Tennessee, Ohio, New Jersey, Kentucky, many other communities, because we plan to retrace our route. We want to revisiting every parish that welcomed the Pilgrim Mother. And the final destination will be, like I said before, the Shrine of Our Lady of Guadalupe in Des Moines, Illinois, where Father Ezequiel Sanchez is preparing a very special welcome for her.
And knowing Father well, I'm sure he will have a grand and fervent opportunity for people to assemble at that as well. Mary calls for a temple to be built, a temple that ultimately resulted in the erection of the initial basilica, and then the one that now exists as well. But that symbolism of the temple is so powerful, and for Mexicans, that shrine in Mexico City is equivalent to what Jerusalem was for the Israelites. Can you speak to the kind of sensibility and the consciousness of the people of Mexico and far beyond in terms of the significance of the apparition?
Can you repeat the question, please?
So just, speak about the kind of instinct of the faithful in terms of their dispositions and the place of Our Lady of Guadalupe in the daily life of the Mexican people. Maybe some are already fervent in their faith, others maybe feeling a little bit removed from the visible life of the sacraments. But she permeates, everyone looks to her, is my impression. Am I on track with that?
Yes, we have a lot of plans. The faith of the people is what we have. It's been deeply moving to see what that means in their lives. In Mexico, we have a lot of devotion for Our Lady of Guadalupe. In the States, I don't know if there is going to be a special temple for the Virgin to visit when the pilgrimage ends. And maybe I can answer that later, because the Father Ezequiel Sanchez, I know that he is preparing something special.
Tremendous, and if I wasn't totally clear in my question, I don't know that we look for another temple to be built, but the temples, the churches that we now have, cathedrals, basilicas, parish churches, they become, as it were, the seat of Mary. Mary always present, her omnipresence to us all, but under the particular visage of Our Lady of Guadalupe, who I think is truly, among all the apparitions, I think is one that commonly agreed is the one that is most all-encompassing and universal in her appeal to us as well. The ways in which, are there other events scheduled to mark the 5th centenary? What other things are going to be happening that the Mexican bishops or others on your own soil that will be part of this overall observance?
I can confirm if there is another event scheduled yet, because all the bishops and the people in Mexican church is very busy. So we work very close with them, but they have a very busy agenda. We really want that Mexican people from the Archdiocese can accompany us to celebrate the 495th anniversary at Los Angeles.
Ah, wonderful.
Now, Giovanna, I have a question for you. When I visited Our Lady's statue to begin with, there was a presentation afterwards. There was a video and some other information. Would you share what people could expect when they come to visit Our Lady of Guadalupe on this pilgrimage? Yes,
of course. We create something that we used to call the vivational an experience, vivational and devotional, right? And let me tell you a little about what this experience consists. It's a narration of the Nican Mopowa, and this is followed by an exchange between the Virgin and San Juan Diego. Midway through the experience, the curtain opens to reveal the sculpture of the Pilgrim Mother. And the experience concludes with a mystery of the Rosary and original recordings of Guadalupean songs that we produce here in Mexico. This experience lasts approximately 45 minutes, and we have it recorded in English and in Spanish. When the people get to the parish or to the church at the entrance, the attendees are given ribbons on which they can write their petitions. These are collected at the end. They are gathered together and later brought to the Basilica of Guadalupe, where a Mass is celebrated with ribbons from various parishes officiated by the Cardinal of Mexico, Carlos Aguilar Retes. In fact, we already celebrated 2 Masses with all the ribbons. The first one was on May 10, and we have already more than 300,000 readers, and the second one was at June. In this experience, the people can see the two images that accompanied the Pilgrim Mother. These are identical replicas of San Juan Diego and the Virgin of Guadalupe, which were blessed at the main altar of the Basilica and were touched to the original tilma. And I don't know, this is main what the experience consists.
That's beautiful.
About 45 minutes.
Yeah, it is a beautiful time. Bishop?
Such significance and so many layers that I think any heart can be touched by this opportunity. We invite people of our diocese or people of Omaha Archdiocese and the surrounding regions to join us. Giovanna, thank you for your hand in bringing this to reality. And Martina and the entire team, many blessings and graces to you throughout these years leading up, including the gathering in Los Angeles. So thank you very much for making time for us today.
When we return, we will share the dates and times of where the statue will be in our diocese. And thank you, Giovanna. You're listening to Making It Personal with Bishop Joensen on the Iowa Catholic Radio Network and the Spirit Catholic Radio Network.
Join host Katie Patrizio as she explores the original language, historical backdrop, cultural environment, and Old Testament context of the Scriptures, focusing on the upcoming Sunday readings. Sunday Dive, Wednesdays at 8 a.m. Central, only on the Iowa Catholic Radio Network.
Welcome back to Making It Personal with Bishop Joensen. And we had a wonderful conversation today with Giovanna Redondo, who is coordinating the movement, the pilgrimage of Our Lady of Guadalupe statue.
Throughout the entire United States.
I know, not just our diocese. But folks, here are the dates and locations where you can visit the statue. It will continue to be at St. Ambrose through August 4th. So St. Ambrose in downtown Des Moines. It will then move to Ankeny, Our Lady's Immaculate Heart, from August 6th through the 13th. St. Boniface in Waukee, August 15th to the 21st. St. Bernard in Osceola, August 23rd to September 2nd. And Corpus Christi in Council Bluffs, September 4th through the 11th. And all of those dates and times, or dates and locations, are on the diocese website. So just go to dmdiocese.org.
I can just imagine the explosion of love and affection at Corpus Christi and Council Bluffs, of course, the other parishes, including St. Bernard, too, where so many of our Hispanic brothers and sisters are present in this. But I think it's always an opportunity for us, of course, originally envisioned that Our Lady of the Americas would host, but the humble recognition that the statue and the whole is so massive it would take up the entire sanctuary.
I mean, when I first saw the press release, and it's like, oh, here's the dimensions you need and all of that. And I just didn't envision those dimensions in some of our church spaces. I mean, it is massive. Even for the cathedral, it is massive.
It is.
But, you know, it draws your heart to our Blessed Mother. So,
and if we think of Tepeyac as a kind of a hill or mountain even, you know, I mean, it kind of captures that sensibility that there she is on the mountain before you. You know?
She's not ground level with us. She's definitely elevated.
Even though, of course, she does bend down to us and even being present. And in fact, as I draw inspiration from Archbishop Luis Maria Martinez's reflections on Our Lady of Guadalupe, Am I Not Your Mother? Still popularly available for people who would like to get that. Am I Not Your Mother? By Archbishop Luis Maria Martinez. And not a massive tome, but one that's very accessible, and reflections that I think could carry people throughout the months ahead. You know, I think our people at Our Lady of the Americas, how wonderful they can make the trek as they did this past week for a part of this experience that you were relating with Giovanna about. But it was also a chance for them to have dancing and music and all the festive display. When they typically make this trek on the cold night of December 11th from Our Lady of the Americas to St. Ambrose, you know, it could be single digits then, but the intrepid faith of people.
I am always amazed at that.
However many layers they need to wear, but here they can wear shorts and be a little cooler, and again, very reverent in how they comport themselves, and so inspiring the rest of us too. But that, as Archbishop Martinez says, Mary asks for a temple because she wants to live with us always. And the second reason is that she loves us. She wants to have her little nest of love, the sweetest nest of our love. And so she says, I want a temple to be built for me where as a loving mother, I will hear, love, and pour out gifts into their souls. Some of these gifts, I think, register with us, Jean, but the graces of Mary and her various manifestations are sometimes very subtle. And just as, you know, the infant in the womb, hearing the heartbeat of one's mother, it's impressed on our soul souls in ways before we even sometimes consciously register it. And so I think this is something that we give ourselves over again to being little children. And that may not always be my natural disposition, but by the working of God's grace, and the tear ducts can begin to flow, and all that's there. And I think whatever is on her heart, she's ready to receive us.
Yeah, I just am so humbled by our Blessed Mother that, here's this young girl that, she has this call. She's now the Mother of God. The Mother of God. It's like, okay, I'm a little girl. She's just a little girl. And yet, how that was manifested in her life and speaks to us of our littleness and that God is calling us to do things for him.
And I would tie this even as we move our confirmation age. And again, that's a process that's unfolding over these next couple of years to 6th grade, that at this moment, ready to have those encounters that will hopefully be etched on their souls and will move hearts to say yes to whatever God's will, not just at that moment, but replicate it again through adolescence or those pivotal moments when we know the world is presenting us with many options. So grateful for this time and to share and visit with you, Jean.
This has been another edition of Making It Personal with Bishop Joensen. Thanks to our guest and to all of you, our listeners in Iowa, Nebraska, or perhaps Mexico City, or wherever you may be listening to the Iowa Catholic Radio Network and the Spirit Catholic Radio Network.
You can hear Making It Personal with Bishop William Joensen every week on Iowa Catholic Radio and iowacatholicradio.com.
Support for Iowa Catholic Radio and Making It Personal is provided by Sarah Vocations Ministry. Learn more at joinserra.org.
What legacy would you like to leave? As part of the Legacy Society, your gift supports the future of the Iowa Catholic Radio Network. By participating in the planned giving process, you can be assured that when you leave this earth, your charitable gift will continue to support this apostolate and its mission of connecting people to Christ. If you're interested in including Iowa Catholic Radio as part of your charitable gift planning, call me, Belle Marasco, at 515-223-1150. Thank you for your prayerful support.